Howdy, howdy, howdy. We live?
Mm-hmm. Yes, we are live.
Oh, yes, that time. Happy Monday, happy Monday. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, good night, wherever you're streaming from. It is truly an honor to be back again in your earring today. We are glad you are here with us. Phone a friend, call a friend, text a friend, share it with a friend. Get the group together. Let's have a watch party together. Let's have a conversation tonight. So much nugget. We started off last week and we're following up on part two of our new series, supporting your spouse when they're caught in a cycle. And the cycle varies from spouse to spouse, right? It could be emotional, behavioral, situational, right? Situation meaning like they're going through challenges, right? They're trying to navigate job changes, career shift, promotion shift, and relocation. All of these changes that comes with part of being human, right? And when you have family, it's not just you. These things impact. And a lot of time the men, they take it so deep, right? They feel like they have to self-soothe themselves without communicating. And what we're saying, and we're not beating up on the woman, honestly, because it
We're
does
not.
impact both gender, right? It does impact both gender, but a lot of time you might hear us coming like we're coming from the woman perspective because we are women, and a lot of time we'll see through the lens of woman, right? As we can't see much through the lens of men, but when we do observe the men, they might not say much like us. We have a community. We can reach out to our friends, our girlfriends, right? We'll talk to, we easily approachable and we'll call somebody and just start talking
Yep.
about what we got going on. It's
Mm-hmm.
not so for a lot of men. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
men, they suffer in silence because they
Mm-hmm.
were taught men suck it up, men
Yep.
figure it out, men
Mm-hmm.
go do. And a lot
Mm-hmm.
of time they just think they're listening here. So we
Mm-hmm.
want us tonight, when we think about going through a cycle, and like I said, it's both gender, but most importantly, since we know men don't speak that much, their silence is the most powerful weapon that they have. And we dismiss it a lot and we call it different name instead of realizing that once your husband goes silent and that is the biggest conversation you're having right there. It's a
Yep.
used conversation. So we wanted to delve in today again in part two, giving you more tips, strategies, suggestions, and we need your feedbacks too. What works for
Mm-hmm.
you if you have ever been in a cycle or your spouse have ever been in a cycle, whether it be a career cycle, just graduating from college, getting
Mm-hmm.
into college, whatever that cycle is
Yep.
that he's trying to make that big decision that's going to impact the entire household. How do you deal with those challenges? A lot of time we said, you know what, it's just a phase and we're going to pray it away. But we need to have those conversations. Prayer
And
is
pray it
very,
away.
very important. Believe you me. I mean, daily, minute by minute, I believe in prayer. Trust me, hands down. But there's time that we have to get in the earthly realm and get practical, having that conversation with our spouse, talking to them how their day going and so forth. So Evangelist is going to come in tonight, the mastermind, the visionary, glory to God, this lady who wrestled with this ministry. And it's so ironic how this ministry came about the very time that I was supposed to start the same ministry in another lifetime. But the team that was put together that I was supposed to work with, if they were both married folks, and ironically, the minute the team came together, they were going through divorce. I didn't know that in the moment. We didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's how
Mm-hmm.
sometimes God shifts. And
Yeah.
this ministry was birthed for me to be able to help those folks that was going through those situations and those who not there yet, to prevent them from getting to that situation, that there is still help before you go
Mm-hmm.
sign on that line and said, I'm done.
Right.
So
Right.
this ministry here is a faster, healthy family, building one marriages at a time. Listen, if we can save one marriage, if we can give you a renewed mindset to see your spouse through the lens of you, not how the world see him, not what society want him to be, but the
Right.
change you see in you that you wanted to see in your spouse. Because everything that we taught here, it's not for you to go beat on your spouse. It's for
No.
you to execute. It's for you to say, you know what, I'm going to show up in this way to get a different result. So that's why we're here. And these tips, don't take it for granted. We want you to implement it. Most importantly, we want your feedback. So yes, I am your girl, Evangelist Nikki McKenzie, a simple girl just trying to be better than I was the day before. My only competition is with myself, to be better than myself the day I was before. So every day my goal is to grow in the grace of the Lord and emulate Christ-like behavior in everything that I do. Am I perfect? Ask my husband. He married an imperfect woman and I married an imperfect man. However, we are perfect for each other. The rest, I
Amen.
don't
I
know.
like that.
Right? So, and with that said, we're going to bring in our tutelage, my mentor. A true woman of God. This woman is passionate for soul, for the kingdom of God, a warrior on the front line. Listen, she wears so many, a doctor, counselor. Let me tell you, the fivefold ministry all over her life. I just love this woman and her husband and the way they support each other. I am truly, truly a big fan of the Bakers. Yes, I am such a big fan of them. And I'm not just saying that because she's my mentor, but no other than our visionary, Dr. Baker in your earring. God bless you, woman of God. God bless you.
Amen. Listen, listen, listen. I know. I listen. I got on a hat today, right? I do wear many hats. Listen, but good evening and welcome, everyone. Thank you so much, Evangelist Nikki. Listen, if y'all didn't see the service yesterday morning, oh my God, on Worship and the Word, Evangelist Nikki preached a word. Listen. Listen, the storm is only a chapter. Go back and listen to it and let your spirit and your soul be blessed. This cycle that your spouse is in is only a chapter.
Amen.
It's not
Amen.
it's not a death sentence. He's not going to be stuck there. It's only a chapter, and we can listen. You can help him navigate through what he's going through. All right. So I love the word on yesterday, and then my husband topped it off yesterday with preaching. But listen, go check out Marcia Baker Ministries on YouTube and make sure you're subscribed and make sure you signed up to receive messages from us. All right. So listen, today we're talking about again. Whew, Jesus. Let me tell y'all something about when our spouses are in cycles. Listen, we have to make sure. This is what I want to say to us today, ladies, and welcome and good afternoon to everyone, right? Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, depending on your geographical location. A lot of times, we miss what our spouses are going through because we're not paying attention to our spouse. We're not paying attention to them. And so we tend to miss, right? So last week we talked about actively listening and making sure we're validating their feelings. Now we're not just saying husbands, you notice, right? We're saying spouse because sometimes the woman is in a cycle. Sometimes the man, we go through in marriages, we go through, right? And so we have to be there to support each other. Listen, I don't want nobody else supporting Pastor Baker. Nope, that's my job. That's my job to support him. And sometimes when he's so quiet, I'd be like, wait a minute, you okay? You sure? I'm like, you're positive? He's like, when he give me that side eye, Evangelist Nikki, then I know I'm getting on his nerve to just stop and just, he's okay. But I want to make sure he's okay. So now, what I want to talk to us about today and encourage, I want to talk on this point today, right? Understanding the cycle that your spouse is in and what triggered it. Mm. Understanding what cycle he's in and what triggered it. Because you know, he or she, I got to remember to remain gender neutral. Sometimes they're in cycles and we don't even know it because certain behaviors tend to repeat themselves at a certain time. Like we know February, if you live in the northeast, you're gonna get snow in February. You're gonna get snow. If it's winter, if that winter cycle come around, you know you're gonna get snowstorms. You know when the spring come, depending on your geographical location, you're gonna get hurricanes. You're gonna get tornadoes. You're gonna get thunder showers. I live in Florida, and depending when I see the clouds set a certain way, I say, "Uh oh, I know it's about to rain." Right? But the rain don't last for a long time. But you got to know what is triggering your spouse's cycle. And you've got to be able now to recognize maybe something that you're doing at a certain time is triggering them, right? I'm not saying you are the problem, right? But I'm saying something that you could be doing or not doing could trigger that, right? Recognizing the specific behaviors and reaction that characterizes the cycle. So you have to be paying attention to your spouse. You can't just be just nonchalant and not listening. You got to be paying attention to your spouse. Listen, let me tell you something. I pay so much close attention to my husband. Listen, that when anything is wrong, if I see him limp or walk a certain way, I'm like, wait a minute, what happened? You didn't have that limp yesterday, or you didn't even have that limp a few moments ago. What's going on? You got to pay attention. You can't be so focused into what you're doing that you're not paying them attention, right? Because if that was something was happening with you and they didn't notice it, you would be upset. That's right, Dr. Hope. Learn and study their personality traits. Listen, I know my husband. I know him. Listen, when my husband is not saying something, I'm like, what's on your mind? Talk to me. And he'll say, I'm not one of your patients. I say, I know, but talk to me, right? Because I don't want, listen, I have so many complaints. Oh, my spouse is not talking to me. My spouse is not talking. But they were talking before. Is it a medical condition? What happened? Something triggered that silence. So when you learn their personality trait and you know that if you're talking too much, if you're a person that your spouse don't like a lot of talking and you're talking too much, that's going to cause them to shut down. That's just how their personality is made up. If my husband does not like confrontation, so and I learned that quick in our relationship that he doesn't like confrontation, so he doesn't like conflict. He resolves them quick. He don't go to sleep angry. He don't go to sleep upset. That's not his trait, right? So once you recognize what's happening with them, you've got to make sure, right? You got to make sure. Say, for instance, it's all of a sudden it's a pattern of arguing or withdrawing or starting to blame. Recognize what happened. Go back in your mind's eye and say, wait a minute, what happened the last time he shut down, it was because his tooth was hurting and I didn't realize it, and he didn't want to talk, because it would irritate his mouth. Okay, so what is it this time? Could it be the same tooth? So you got to go back and say, is your teeth hurting again? Find out, ask questions. Don't just say, what's the matter with you now? Nobody's going to respond to that. I don't know about you, but somebody come at me like that, if I'm quiet in a quiet place, like say for instance, this week my husband had to minister. So he was real quiet and reserved and locked in, right? And every time I would ask, I was like, are you okay? You sure you want something to eat? He's like, no, I'm fasting. Okay, no problem. Then at a certain time of the evening, I'm like, you want me to make you some tea? You know what I mean? Because I know by a certain time he gotta drink his tea and crackers, y'all. He gotta have his tea and crackers, right? And so when you learn their personality trait, you know what is going on with them, right? You listen, you gotta pay attention. Ladies, and I'm gonna be gender specific on this one. Ladies, be careful. Learn your spouse. Learn their temperature. Men, learn your wife. Learn her temperature. Know when she's going off and why she's going off and what's happening, right? Blessings to you, Evangelist Salome and Lady Chantra. Good evening. Lady Evangelist Salome said, "My hubby can't do malice. It happened and it's over. Just and that's my husband too." Lady Salome, but if my husband is upset about something, whatever it is, it's quick and he's finished. But if I bring it up later, he's like, "I thought we was finished with that." He's like, "You're still on that." Y'all pray for your girl because sometimes I be needing more clarity. And he's like, I'm not going over that with you. Just know that I'm not gonna go over that with you again, right? And I'm like, okay, right? But let me tell you, you gotta know the cycle. You have to know the triggers because you know what triggers you, right? Let's be for real. You know what triggers you. We all know what triggers us, right? We all know what trigger us, and we all know our temperament. Normally, when I'm counseling couples, I'll give them that temperament test. That temperament test will get you every time because you can't lie. You can't lie. The questions are set up that you have to speak the truth, right? And so once they take that temperament test, I can basically figure out who is what in the relationship, right? And so you have to be careful when we address and recognize also the cycles or the pattern. When you identify the pattern, you have to learn now how to address it. I was speaking to a young lady yesterday, and I said, you need to pray for your spouse, and different things was happening. I said, you got to pray for him, especially those of ladies and gentlemen, those of you who are married to non-believers or unbelievers. You be the more, whoever's the more spiritual, you have to pray with and for your spouse. And if they don't know how to pray, you got to teach them, enter into that prayer realm for them, right? You can't go slacking. You cannot go slacking. Listen, people would think that I'm the prayer warrior. No, my husband is. I'm learning from him. Trust and believe me, right? However, you couldn't tell, right? Because we teach each other, right? We pull each other up by the bootstrings. And I love it. When I tell you that I love it, I love it. I really enjoy him teaching me and me gleaning from him. It's amazing, right? And we glean from each other. And so when we identify the pattern now, we know how to. The next point I want to bring up is seek the underlying issues, because sometimes there's an underlining, like my job as a researcher. On my job, I research to find the root cause of why the system is not paying the doctor what we're contracted to pay them. And then we have to find the root cause. Are they billing correct? Are they using the proper modifier? Is it the proper location that they're billing in? Is their taxonomy match the services that they're providing? So many things could be off. So when your spouse now is in a cycle, you have to see the underlying issue. What is the root cause for him or her behaving like that, right? You have to see it when once you recognize it, because listen, sometimes it's not that the food is cold, it's something else. It's not that, oh, you have on that same hat again today. No, that's not it. I left home and you had on a bonnet and I come home and that's not the issue. But when you've recognized and see and seek out and find the underlying issues, your issues will be more manageable and you will know now how to handle the situation. But if you don't know and you're running around in a circle and you're frustrated, that's not helping you and it's not helping your spouse. You have to understand and seek the underlying issue. Listen, try to understand what might be driving that cycle. And you see, this is the thing, right? This is why we have before you say I do, right? Because before you say I do, you will spot, if you're being counseled correctly, you will spot the underlying issues. You will see them. You will hear about them. You will hear about some of the things that might trigger them, right? And so this is why counseling is imperative. This is why before you say I do, shameless plug for Thursday nights, you have to make sure that you are being counseled and counseled correct. And my advice to you is don't let someone that's familiar with both of you counsel you, because they're going to be biased. Let me tell you something, it's going to be a bias unless the counselor can separate the personal friendship or relationship from the professional relationship. Because everything that's done, if I know Evangelist Nikki and I'm counseling her and her spouse, I'll know her more. So sometimes the spouse may feel like, listen, she know you, so she gonna be on your side. No, I'm not like that. Trust and believe me, I'm not like that. Those of you that know me and know how I counsel, no, I'm for the side of right and truth to get you to collaborate and come back together as one. You're not two, right? You're one. So when you seek the underlying issues and you find it, listen, so many persons have unresolved issues. That could be a topic all by itself. Right, evangelist? That could be a topic. Unresolved issues can be a topic all by itself. Could it be that your spouse have unresolved issues? And this is why before you say I do is important, because all those unresolved issues will come to the forefront, and you will resolve what's resolvable, and then you can decide, should I marry this person with all these unresolved issues? Because guess what, those unresolved issues is going to become huge issues once you get married. Yes, Dr. Hope, especially the ones from other relationships. Lord of mercy. If they have unresolved issues with another person in another relationship, you've got to get that straight before you say I do. You shouldn't even be thinking of getting married until those issues are resolved. Are they resolvable? Can you resolve them interpersonally, or do you need a mediator? Because sometimes you need a mediator to mediate so that the issue at hand can be addressed. Because sometimes, we're talking to people, and then they lead off into something else. No, you have to have, listen, unresolved issues. Listen, if you enter into a marriage, or even into another relationship with unresolved issues, it's a recipe for disaster. You're entering into chaos. And I'm telling you, you are entering into chaos if you do not get these unresolved issues. And I can tell you right now, if you're married to someone and they have unresolved issues, those are the underlying things why the cycles keep repeating. I'm telling, and that's just basic psychology 101. Because you listen, I'm telling you, this is why part of the vow that says marriage should not be entered in lightly or unadvisedly. It's a reason why that part is part of the vow taking ceremony. Listen, we tend to become so emotional on the wedding day and get caught up in the dress, the reception. But when we take the vows, you've got to be paying attention, because when it said for better or for worse, unresolved issues, if you know about them, is part of the situation. Trust and believe me. And if they're not addressed, they're going to become a monster in the marriage. Trust me, right? Are there unmet needs? Oh Lord. And I think we had a topic on that about unrealistic expectation. Needs. Do they have needs that are being unmet? Listen, let me tell y'all something about most men that I know and most women that I know. They have high sex drives, whether they're in the church or they're outside of the church. So if you're not meeting that need sexually, that's another recipe for the disaster. And all of that need to be discussed before you say I do. Yeah, you got to know their sexual appetite. You don't just want to get married to somebody and realize, oh my God, this person loves sex and I don't. No, you better make sure. I tell people all the time, if you don't like sex, don't get married, because you're doing your partner a disservice, and you're going to cause your partner to go outside the relationship. And that's going to be another issue. So if you know you're a female or a male that is not, I can only want sex once in a blue moon, and the moon is rarely blue, stay by yourself single. Stay by yourself single, because you're going to frustrate the other person. Right. And the problem may not be with you, it may be with your partner. So you listen, if there are unmet needs, you got to discuss them. You got to discuss them. And this one here is very important. Past traumas. Are past traumas continue are past traumas contributing to the behavior cycle? Lord have mercy. Do you see? Listen, we're only on here half an hour. Do you see the issue that can arise just if your partner is in a cycle? If those cycles are not dealt with and you get married to this person, listen, Tylenol and Motrin 800 will not do you any justice. No. You're going to be on high blood pressure medication. You're going to become obese, or what's the other word? You're going to be anorexic, right? But you're going to be in for a rude awakening and a ride that you are not equipped or ready for. I'm telling y'all, people of God, I had to slow down, because when you talk about trauma, If you have unresolved trauma entering into a marriage, trust and believe the sex is not going to be that good. You're not going to, you might enjoy it for a moment, but when you think about, oh my God, the trauma that you got, the trauma that's in the person that you have to deal with, and listen, you cannot, you are not your spouse's therapist. No. You can't do it. You cannot do it. You're not trained. You're not equipped for it. So don't try to be their therapist, because what's going to happen is you're going to make the situation and their cycle worse. I'm just telling you. That's right, Dr. Hope. Great advice for free. Free. That's the word. Free. But if you need counseling, reach out to us. The information is scrolling across the screen. Marcia Baker Ministries at gmail.com. I do a 15 minutes free consultation where I just allow you to speak to see if I want to take the case, if I want to refer you out. But 15 minutes, and I have a timer. After 15 minutes is up, that's it. That's it. A young lady came. It was so funny. I said, it's a 15-minute consultation. She scheduled. She said, yes. And she talked for the 15 minutes. And I said, okay, well, I think I can help you. So she's like, you're not going to ask me any questions? I said, nope. That's what, when you're consulting with somebody, you're telling them your issue, and they're going to see what they can do to help you resolve it, not within that 15 minutes. No way, no shape, no form, no how. That's when you book a session now to deal with what you have said. All right. So listen, our time is up. Listen, let me tell y'all something. If you have not yet joined our Thursday night community, you're missing out. Last week, Thursday, my God, what can I say about last Thursday? Is one, I think every Thursday is one for the record books, right? But you want to join us this week. We're going to talk about, are you a nurturer? Are you a nurturer, or are you supposed to nurture? Can you nurture? Should you nurture? When should you nurture? And the Bogles are coming back to discuss the question, to discuss that. We had them on in February dealing with the topic. And so they're coming back this week. And listen, let get in the room with it. It's not on Facebook, it's not on YouTube, it's only on Zoom. All right. So join us on Zoom Thursday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Set your clock and set your clock for your time zone. That will be 6 p.m. Jamaica, um, 7 p.m. US, 8 p.m. Suriname, and Bermuda, and 11 o'clock or midnight for the UK, one of those, right? And it's going to be 4 p.m. if you're in British Columbia, right? That's in Canada, if you right. So just set your clocks for your time zone, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you don't know how to do that, just go to Google and put in 7 p.m. Eastern Standard, and it'll tell you your time. All right. So listen, on behalf of myself and Evangelist Nikki, we just want to say see you next Monday. We're going to talk about part 3, because we have some other things to talk about with this cycle thing. Let me tell you something. It's a lot to learn about when your spouse is in a cycle. You want to be here to listen to us. Listen, if you're just joining us, listen, catch the replay when we stop streaming. All right. We love you. God bless you, and have an awesome rest of your night.